We're live. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital, Trade with Travis, and um, Expert About the Reviews on YouTube. Hope everybody's doing very well on this Wednesday morning. This is actually a teacher work day for us, so I was actually able to do it at the regular time that we have been doing most of our trading sessions and everything else. I'm going to go ahead and not waste anybody else's time. We're going to go ahead and go through the disclaimer, and then after that, we'll go ahead and jump into everything else. Here we go. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So, with that being said, as we go through, be able to take a look at what's happening from a chart perspective and everything else like that. Please make sure that if you are watching live, make sure that you end up typing inside of the chat box and let me know if you can be able to hear me. That makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to know what's going on, and also allows me to be able to understand if my sound is good as we get everything else situated. But happy to have each and every one of y'all on. For the first time watchers, thanks for being able to pop in. Typically, we end up doing this for right around 25 to 30 minutes. We end up going through about 6 to 7 pairs, including the pairs that y'all would like to be able to take a look at inside of the market. I am very candid and very frank on what I end up looking at when it comes down to trading opportunities. I have a set style and way that I end up doing it. From a swing trading perspective, I'm more of a breakout and counter trend trader. From a algo perspective, I'm more of a scalper. But I allow the scalping system to be able to do its thing and be able to go from there. And we'll talk about that as well as being able to show the overall progress of everything that's been going on with that as well. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening for the market today. And then after that, kind of see how that's going to project into going into tomorrow. So um, today's Australia Day, which means that we're probably not going to end up seeing a lot of trading when it comes down to people in Australia. Obviously, the that time frame and everything else like that won't be until a little bit later on tonight, but it's still probably going to end up being pretty slow. It's been pretty slow pretty much most of the time. Let me turn on my camera real quick. It's been pretty slow most of the time this week already. Obviously, we have the Lunar New Year that's going on with Japan and everything else. So you're not having seen a lot of stuff when it comes down to like the U.S. yen and everything else. Today, what we're going to end up seeing is the interest rate decision to happen with the Canadian dollar. So U.S. CAD will be one of those charts that we're going to take a look at. I will end up talking about what I think is probably going to end up happening overall when it comes down to that market. But we got to keep in mind the United States dollar is still in a little bit of consolidation, and as long as it stays in that consolidation, and we don't have a clear direction about where the market's going to end up going, it really doesn't really matter about a lot of these pairs that we're looking at. It's just slow overall. So as we go through, we'll take a look at most of that stuff. A little bit going into tomorrow, we're going to end up having the biggest day when it comes down to the United States dollar. We're going to end up having durable goods. We're going to end up having GDP annualized. That's going to end up having at 8:30 a.m. Then after that, we're going to end up having non-defense capital goods. That's going to end up going from there. So today, more importantly, will probably end up being, if we're talking about like U.S., we're talking about U.S. Canadian dollar as a example, as a pair being able to take a look at. More than anything else, we're probably just going to see how the market's just going to have um, its own little of a phase at um, probably at the mid portion of the day, and then after that, I mean at the early portion of the day, then after that, it probably might end up consolidating a little bit more. All right, so let's take a look at it. We're going to go ahead and go with the big three. If you're not familiar with the big three, that's the United States dollar index, that's gold, that's oil. Uh, I look at four main factors. I do include Bitcoin on that, but I don't necessarily trade Bitcoin as much. So for my people that like looking at cryptocurrency, I always add that one on just to be able to talk and be able to go through from there. But this would be a good time if you are watching live. If there's a pair that you would like for me to be able to talk about, please make sure that you place it inside of the chat box, and we end up going from there. All right. So United States dollar index, where are we? We're looking at it um, from an overall weekly perspective first. We can see that we're clearly in the buy zone. There should be some type of transition to where we should start seeing this thing kind of turning around and getting a little bit more bullish at some particular point in time, but we're just not there yet. The market end up getting all the way up to its highest peak in early October. Typically in October, that's when you end up seeing the market move anyway. And then from there, since then, the market has fell down for, at this point, we're talking about almost 19 weeks of overall movement to the downside. So it is due to be able to have some type of retracement, but we are seeing that the market has been on a lot of consolidation overall. So the question is, what is the direction? The direction right now, in my mind, obviously is clearly bearish, but we can see for the last 2 weeks we've been sideways. So this might be an accumulation phase for the market to be able to start being able to make at least a little bit of an uptick. So I would kind of, even though the weekly is bearish, I would still kind of say that I am looking more. I will look more forward to the market actually starting to make a U-turn than continue to keep on falling down. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to end up trading in any direction until we actually end up getting any type of identifier that is ready to go in any other direction. But the last time that we end up taking a trade, we actually end up taking a sale. That sale was from 12,814. The take profit was at 12,626. From there, what we ended up doing was, as soon as the market started to get into consolidation again, based off of this candlestick right here, we got out, took profit, and kind of moved on from there. Glad we ended up doing it because we can clearly see inside of this yellow box that we have a strong consolidation area with a natural support 12,660 or 670, and then after that a natural resistance of 12,757. As long as this market is inside of this consolidation, there's really no trade to be able to take. Type in a wire, yes, if that makes sense. Unless you are a person that likes being able to trade consolidation, there's really no trade to be able to take in this position to feel comfortable with and being able to make a move. Now, we're being a little bit more aggressive. We could say that this right here is the natural support right around 12,685 because that touched a little bit more positions. And then after that, we could say that this movement to the outside will be somewhat of an outlier. So if you want to be a little bit more aggressive and you want to start getting in, if you believe that the market's going to end up falling, I would not get in until the market ends up breaking below 12,685. When it comes down to a resistance, I still think 12,757 or 12,780 or 760 is the position to be able to look at for us being able to get out for the buys. So currently right now, nothing to be able to do. Give me one quick second, everybody. Oh, jeez, come on now. Okay, sound check, everybody. Just let me know if I'm good. I just turned on my mic again. Just let me know if I'm good. All right, so here we go. U.S. oil. U.S. oil have been making any trades on U.S. oil as of yet. Market has been in consolidation. We end up having a strong consolidation spot from $70 a barrel all the way up to 82.50. Market pushed up to 82.50 sometime early last week, tapped it twice. And since then, the market has not made a move outside of that. So kind of the same deal. And especially for people that are prop firm trading and stuff like this, January has kind of been kind of slim pickings. If you end up passing your qualification on that early, the first portion of the month, like the first 10 to 15 days, then you probably would have hit your or reached your overall position. If not, then you've been fighting with a whole bunch of people to be able to kind of get it when it comes down to being able to pass those qualifiers. I know for me, we got 15 days. We got about 15 days left in. It's kind of hard to be patient because you know that you got a certain amount of days that you have to be able to get it done. But at the same time, there's no really great trade to be able to take to kind of say, okay, well, I can be able to make that position or make that profit that I truly want to be able to make. But at the end of the day, the whole motto when it comes down to that is always just win, baby. So we want to make sure that we can be able to do that. Oil, nothing there. We're just going to remain to be calm. We will see there will be some type of movement that will end up happening at 8:30 based off of what's happening with the Canadian dollar. Remember, oil has a strong correlation with the Canadian dollar, so please pay attention to that. Overall, I do have an order that's set up at 82.50. If the market breaks out at 82.50, then I do expect that it's going to end up going into 3 separate positions. The first one is 86.10, second one is 89.80, and then a third one at 94.60. The reason being is because that the market breaks this consolidation, it will go inside of this consolidation right here. So if it breaks a resistance, it will get to a resistance, which will be the take profit one. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put an arrow right here. If it breaks a resistance, it will end up completing a resistance right here first. Then after that, they're second. And then after that, the top of the resistance will end up being third. Okay. We end up going from there. I have a prop firm with no time limit. Which one? Which one, Fatty? Because obviously I've been looking at a lot of them, but mainly I've been looking at all of them to be able to say which one is going to end up working very well with this automated trading and not manual trading. But I am setting up one for obviously we talked about I am setting up one for manual trading as well. Let's see. Gold. Let's talk about that. My Forex funds on my Forex funds, it says that I have 15 days left in that in my challenge. Unless you're doing which one are you doing? Are you doing a evaluation? Are you doing a rapid? Which one? Because I'm literally in my Forex funds challenge right now. All right, gold. We take a look at that. What's happening currently right now is that the market is still in this large scale consolidation where the support was at 1670, resistance is at 20, evaluation. Me too. I got like I said, I got 15 days left on it, and being able to go from there. Doing okay. It's not the problem of if I'm in drawdown or anything else like that. I believe that obviously I'll be able to pass. I believe that obviously I'm trying to do it with the system by itself and not be able to place in. I'm not trying to do any type of effort. Obviously, in a way of being able to show or being able to give me confidence to be able to know that it can be able to do it by itself, and which is done proven multiple times. But um, it's one of those things to where I would love to be able to have the freedom of being able to say that I don't have to touch it. Gold ended up completing a daily D extension a few weeks ago at 1872. Currently, the market right now is at 1923. If we go into it, take a look at it from a daily perspective, we see that was the D extension that ended up hitting. Market ended up breaking the counter trend line break to the upside at this particular point, and then after that has been inside of consolidation. Um, well, it's starting to be able to show that there could be some potential consolidation being shown right here. I decided not to be able to make a move off of this one because we haven't had a solid retracement as of yet, based off of the second phase. Until there's a solid retracement, and what I mean by solid retracement, I mean at least down to the 382 or more. Let me see. I'm going to do this in blue. I mean that obviously we have our A, we have our B. I would like the market to be able to fall down somewhere around here at least to be able to see that the market is healthy. For the market to be for the market to be very healthy and start to be able to have a good swing, I would love it to be able to get to the sweet spot, which will end up being right around that 1767 position. But I just don't know if it's going to end up getting down to that position as of yet. Uh, but the United States dollar does show us has not shown a sign that we could possibly see that there's a possible U-turn coming. Maybe this news, when it comes down to what's going to happen on Thursday, which is non-defense goods and GDP and everything else, may start to be a catalyst. And remember, we're getting close to the first portion of the week, first portion of the month when it comes down to February. So that may be something else to be able to pay attention to. But gold, I can easily tell you that I'm not going to do anything off of this one. That's really nothing to be able to pay attention to. There's no phase on that one yet. That's ready to go. If you end up making profit off of it earlier last week, congratulations. Um, While I'm here, let's go ahead and take a look at U.S. Canadian dollar, and then after that, we get into Bitcoin after that. Yeah, let's see. It would be nice to put the crossover. I know I've done U.S. Canadian dollar multiple times. Where's my chart? Okay, cool. So we can start over from the beginning. All right. Top down analysis right from the beginning. Nice. All right. Oh, there it is. um, so what ended up happening from a weekly perspective? Market was in a channel. Ended up falling down to natural support, which was early in October, I believe. Actually, that was in June. Ended up breaking out of this. Finally, ended up breaking out of this channel in early September. From there, market ended up completing a de-extension and peaking all the way up in October to a high of 1.3976. Currently, since then, the market has been waving to the downside. Um, it has fell all the way down to the 5.0, so there is a solid retracement. But the other thing that I'm noticing is this: the market end up breaking out of this consolidation, and typically, when you end up seeing a breakout, you will typically end up seeing a retest. You've been inside of any one of these live streams plenty of times. You end up seeing that all of the time, or you hear me say it all the time. There goes your breakout. Here's your retest right here at the top of the actual channel that was actually created. Now, the question is from that retest, and after that, you will end up seeing either the market is going to continue to keep on pushing to the upside based off of a counter trend line break, and we can see that this market could potentially get all the way up to 147 at some point when it comes down to the year, or you will see that this market will continue to end up making a move to the downside. And from that move to the downside, it could go all the way down to the sweet spot, which will end up being at 132, but ultimately almost could fall all the way back down to the support, which will end up being right around that 129 area. Now, going into today, that will end up this may end up answering some questions about what may end up happening because we are at the top of this. We are at the past resistance turn future support area of this channel that we end up showing, in which I'm getting ready to stand right now. Now, the true question, CM, I know who that is. What's going on? How you doing? Glad to have you. Glad to have you on. And kind of surprised that you're actually on at 6:49, but good to speak to you. Um, but as we take a look at it, we are in a position to be able to see how the market's going to end up reacting off of it. Are we going to end up seeing that the market is going to end up doing something like this, where you got a counter trend line break, just a little bit of a retest, and then after that, pop back up to the upside? Or are we going to end up seeing the market break through and continue to break through? If it breaks through this consolidation channel, I think it's going to end up falling very fast. But that means that going into tomorrow, you're probably going to end up looking at the United States dollar really have some problems based off of the numbers. From a daily perspective, this is what we have been getting. This is not true consolidation yet. This is nothing more than just it could be considered or a possible double bottom that could possibly happen. So there goes your first bottom, and then after that, the second bottom could possibly be right there. But right now, we don't have anything yet to be able to do. So I'm just going to stay away from it for right now. Bitcoin. Let's see. Um, Bitcoin's been in consolidation. Well, it was in consolidation. It was very tight consolidation from 16,500 to 17,000. Market finally ended up breaking out a few days ago. Finally ended up breaking out of that 18,240 area. That's where we end up getting inside of our orders. From there, we end up having a few different positions where we thought that the market could potentially go, which was 19,663, which it passed, 20,369, which it passed, which was the consolidation that we've seen right there. Currently, right now, we're in the second phase of this overall market kind of waving. Now, here's the deal. We are in this consolidation area where the market has a support of 22. a 22,450, and a resistance of what is no true resistance as of yet. We haven't necessarily defined it yet. Um, let's see. We can go into let's go into the 2 hour and see what's happening with that. We can define the bottom as being 22,310, and the resistance currently right now, there's really no resistance that we can be able to kind of claim as a natural spot, but we do know what the support is at this point. So now when we're taking a look at this, the question is, if the market breaks below 22,310, where's it going to go? Well, ultimately, just like how you end up looking at any type of vortex trade or anything else, this was your free range area right here, or this was your area where the market ended up having that large movement. So keep this in mind. I would expect that if the market does fall down, it will fall down at least back to this area first, and at least be able to test this past resistance and make that future support, kind of like what we end up seeing based off of U.S. Canadian dollar. Now, once again, that goes back to if the United States dollar ends up having good news to happen tomorrow. I don't think that the market's going to move until anything happens tomorrow, and then after that, going into the beginning of February. So currently, right now, that's what I will be able to pay attention to. There's no movement right now that you can be able to take and actually feel comfortable with. At least in my position, that's 30. It's a 33% chance of being able to win anything inside of that area. And so, once again, we're looking at slim pickings at this point, and being able to go from there. At this point, Fatty, we might as well take a look at pound yen and everything else. Hopefully, we can be able to get something off of that one, because I haven't seen anything with the United States dollar pairs in a while. Let's see. Let's see if we can go with Old Faithful real quick. Weekly. Pound yen is in a R1 perspective. There's still no quote unquote U-turn as of yet, but I do like what I see. Um, the market's in the buy zone. Yes. Let's see here. There goes your outer trend line. Technically, that's your inner trend line, and you could say that there is a counter trend line break as of actually taking a look at that in the 618, which is pretty good. The last time we ended up talking about this, we ended up saying that this was a consolidation that the market had to be able to break. Um, it did break it to the upside, fell right back inside. It did break it to the downside. It's basically back inside of that area as well. So, with that being said, let's see, get rid of this. Get rid of this ABCD. Now, if we're being honest, here goes your new support. New resistance on this one. We end up being right here. So I'm going to keep that in mind as we go through and take a look at everything. Support 155, 155.35. Resistance 169. Excuse me, sorry. I didn't mean to cough and right beside the microphone. That was kind of weird. So nothing on that one either. We'll just wait until the market actually ends up breaking out of that position. Anything above 169 is clear selling to the upside. Obviously, if it breaks to the downside and falls below that area, then it can fall back to these natural supports at 148, basically 149 before being able to do anything. So we talked about US 30. Well, no, we didn't. US 30, I end up talking. Okay, that's NAS 100. More. US 30, we end up talking about um, a potential position about if the market was going to end up falling, it was going to end up going and kind of fulfilling this little gap that was right here inside of this little circle area. I'm talking about mainly this position from here to here. Um, the market was very fickle yesterday. Um, it fell down, popped right back up, went and created a resistance, which is great. We know what the natural resistance is now. We've seen that the market has been in 2 days of consolidation, so that's not enough to be able to say that the market is ready to be able to make a move, especially with everything being slow overall. But we also can consider and be able to say, okay, well, if you're a person that likes to be able to take R4 type trades, which means that you only want to take the trade at the resistance or the support, and you want to look at buying and kind of staying inside of the consolidation, then the natural support when it comes down to buying is going to end up being um, natural support when it comes down to buying is going to end up being at 33,390. Natural resistance, if you're looking at selling inside of consolidation, will be 33,780. So 33,780 will end up being a resistance. That's if you're looking at being able to sell it back to the inside. Support will end up being okay. Don't need that, man. Horizontal line. Natural support currently right now will end up being at 33,390. There's no orders yet because the market hasn't. We have 1, 2 taps. We have 1, 2 taps right there. I don't think that the market's truly ready to be able to break out of a position. You can place in the order if you really want to. If you're going to place it as being able to say that you think the market's going to end up staying inside and you just want to buy, then obviously it'll just be buying back to the halfway point at this particular point. The halfway point on this one is exactly where we are right now, 33,550. Once again, that's if you're a trader that likes being able to trade the halfway points back inside and being able to go from there. I won't necessarily lean into that and being able to say that is exactly what I would like to be able to do. I would actually like for the market just to be able to fall, and if the market falls, then I would look at being able to sell it from when the market actually ends up truly taking a breakout. That breakout position would end up being from this short to right here as the safest position, and whatever the swing low would end up being based off of the 15-minute uh, or swing high would be off of the 15-minute. That would be the position. But that's a risk reward perspective of somewhere right around 1 to 1.7. If the market breaks the resistance and keeps on going up to the upside, once again, it's kind of slim pickings when it comes down to that. But you can almost place in 2 orders based off of this one, where you end up having this trade to right here as a quick scalp. And then after that, you end up having something to the equivalent of that same trade or having a second trade go all the way up to right where that consolidation is up there. So it end up being something to the extent of that. There's no order that I placed in yet, but that's an idea. And we'll talk about the idea and everything else like that. I place it in on the page of the idea. Once the thing kind of develops itself. But that's what I would look at being able to do when it comes down to certain positions. Now, obviously, if you're looking at a second order when it comes down to if the market keeps on falling, that second order will end up being from here all the way down to where the support is to there. Or if you're truly trying to be safe, it'll be from here to just above right there. Let's see. Block, what's going on? Everything's going well, man. It's been slow. It's been slow overall in the markets, at least for me. Maybe because I done got a heck of a lot more conservative. But it's been definitely slow. Um, if there's not anything else, what we end up doing, we'll close it out today. If you like what I end up doing, please click on the boost button on TradingView. If you're on the red brand, being able to take a look at it from YouTube, make sure you end up clicking on that like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, they end up helping me out when it comes down to the algorithm. The algorithm already doesn't like Trade with Travis when it comes down to the page. I got more videos than I have followers at this particular point. Never really bothered me when it comes down to that because uh, this is more of a live stream type page and it was more personal use than anything else. But like to be able to grow it a little bit. Like always, I do appreciate each and every one of y'all being able to pop in. Hopefully your trading day is going to end up being well. And like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. And I see each and every one of y'all in tomorrow's session, which will obviously cap off what we end up doing for the week. Everybody, take it easy.